Thanks for tuning into the Texas Scratch King channel. In this video you will hear about champion Malcolm X and one-time winner Poncho. Let's begin with Samart's champion Malcolm X. It was December 1992. I went to attend a roll convention. There was this fancier by the name of Rainer. He had 3 young dogs. All females. With him. The word was that if anybody saw a bitch he liked, Rainer would give away for free. Okay, the first bitch apparently got a heart failure under the stress put upon her. The second bitch did start but snapped a lot. But the third, a little black bitch, made a huge impression on me. She fought extremely well against a very good, bigger bitch. This black bitch looked very intense, and because of that she jumped on Rainer to get this bitch. And also, needless to say, Rainer thought he would keep this black little bitch a little while longer. We all went home, and some weeks later, I got a call from my friend Marcel from Raging Bull Kennels. Rainer had called him and offered him the bitch plus her littermate brother. Also a black who, according to Rainer, was an even better prospect. Marcel did not have any room left, so the two were offered to me. I liked the bitch, so I said yes. In February 1993 I went to pick up these 2 black dogs. I had already decided I would call the bitch Black Rain. I liked that movie and the male Malcolm X when I got at Rainer's. He had X running in the backyard. He looked just like Eli Jr. on the old pictures. If this wasn't your typical Eli dog, which was, I ensured Rainer that if the dogs had the potential, I would make them champions, as I consider myself to be a top conditioner. When I got home with the 2 I felt X was a huge pain in the butt since he was a very noisy and hyper dog, which I don't like. At least the noisy part of it. At that point I began to run out of room for my dogs, so I decided that Malcolm X and Cujo, a good dog which came from Billy and Irene Stevens, to settle which one was going to stay. X was 4 pounds bigger, so he came with no work under his belt whatsoever. Cujo was a greyhound type build dog. I conditioned him like I would for a match and gave him somewhat of the advantage because of his lack of strength. But with some steroids, they fought extremely hard for 33 minutes. Because X never had a workout a day in his life, so his hind legs were folding under him. But somehow he found a resource to push Cujo around with just his shoulders and front legs. This told me I had a game won. What also surprised me is that without hind legs, and he yet and still showed me he bit hard. At the 33-minute mark, Cujo couldn't scratch, but you won't hear me calling that dog a cur. I feel he was a credit to his breeders. After X was healthy and rested I started to condition him. He showed to be a very workable dog with lots of natural wind. You could just see his muscles developing with each workout. When I felt he was in really good shape I tried to match him against Keystone Kennels. We agreed, but that match didn't come of. The Keystone Kennels dog went on to lose against champion Blackbeard, who later met Malcolm X. I was then informed by St. B's Ron and Peter that P. Parker had a very good dog that was sure to beat X. I went to see Parker and we agreed to a showdown. The X keep went really nice and slow. I started to get really confident in him, since I really liked the shape he appeared to be in. At the show site Parker informed me that his dog was 1.5 pounds light. I knew then I'd go home with a one-time winner. X bored in from the get-go. This became a walkover win for X in 29 minutes. Now back to the Black Rain bitch. I really liked that roll I saw of her. I rolled her again with my Zelda Jr. bitch. The old retired bitch with a lot of wrestling ability. However, I had to rescue Zelda Jr. at the 20-minute mark. I had my friend JP to handle Black Rain and he almost got bit because Black Rain definitely wanted to go back. After she was healthy and rested I started to work with her. She was a pain to work since she didn't like anything. I matched her into Parker's Rasta, who is a 4-time winner. On this day Black Rain got car sick on her way to the show, which caused her to lose 2 pounds of fluid. It wouldn't matter since Rasta would have won anyway since she is super. In any case, Black Rain was the aggressor in this. But she stopped biting at the 16-minute mark and Rasta got a hold of her leg and broke it. Since I brought Black Rain in steroid free and she did feel it and she made some noise, which I can't blame her for. I gave up the match, but I was happy to see that Black Rain definitely wanted to go back. All this time everybody thought that Sambuca was the dog in our area. He had Malcolm X. Wait. The word was he was rolled with STP and High Energy Kennels Grand Champion Bigfoot, and story went that Sambuca was the better dog. In any case, Sambuca demolished everything he was rolled and matched into. I saw him rolled myself and I was impressed. I thought X would have 40% winning chance against him, since they had the same 8. And X was open. I gave the PMK boys a call and we agreed to a showdown within 3 minutes. I had already worked him for 3 months, so I just continued to do so. Since X was going to meet the bear, I decided that, with the help of my housemate Marja, I would do anything, no matter what the expense, to bring X in the best possible shape. We did just that. And it paid off. Malcolm X took a killing for 20 minutes. Staged a comeback to finish a truly game Sakbuka in 56 minutes. This was a truly classic show which should have been witnessed by more fanciers. The ones who missed it really missed something. After this show, Malcolm X had another match in Just Staying Alive. We all fought for 2 weeks. And thank God he pulled through. After he was cured, I put him in his big kennel and all I did was fatten him up. He must have weighed around 70 pounds. For months. After 2 months of doing completely nothing with him, I started to work him very slowly and very easy. I was as gentle with him as possible because I didn't want to match him again before he was ready to do so. I worked him for 3 months. He seemed to know he was a winner. Being more arrogant and cocky after each win. Since I wanted for X to shine and not only be the best but also to be known worldwide to be the best. I tried to match him into B&W Kennels Champion Spice Giroux Booger Register of Merit and B&W Kennels Carry. That match didn't come of. Luckily, I was able to match X into Champion Blackbeard. This dog had won several in Mexico, Texas and Europe. He had the name, which I felt was important. And he was said to be near 6 or 7 years old. Which, guaranteed, me that X would prevail. After all, if X could beat the best 52-pounder in the world, he most certainly should be able to beat an ace over his prime. This time, however, his keep didn't go smoothly. He cut himself 5 days before the initial date. The champion Blackbeard backers agreed to postpone the show for 2 weeks. Then X got too light and I couldn't get him to gain weight. He looked, however, okay enough to give it a shot, and 2 days before the showtime, I had him thoroughly checked out by a very good vet. He gave me the green light. X checked in 3 pounds too light and champion Blackbeard was dead on weight. I felt I lost my advantage. A dog slightly past his prime against a lighter dog evened things up a bit. Seen through my eyes, however, it was a one-sided affair. With X being the aggressor and top dog. And champion Blackbeard coming to the top in flurries. But X never let him stay there for too long. X is offered a scratch to win at 109. X accepts and scratches straight and true. I am very sorry to say I lost X 2 days later. He sure seemed to be okay. I guess I let myself to be fooled by him because he wasn't okay at all. Samart's champion Malcolm X, the 3-time winner, was bred by Rainer. He was born on October 3, 1991. And passed away on September 27, 1994. I am not the kind of guy to harp on my past success. I just feel obligated to give Malcolm X the credit he so deserves. I just hope he'll be fortunate enough to own someday a dog who can approach champion Malcolm X's outstanding winning qualities and ability. Now let's hear about Vice Grip's Poncho. Champion Leonard beat and stopped my Mac dog in 37 at a weight of 42 pounds. Mac was a natural 40 pounds dog that I brought up to 42. While Leonard was a natural 44-pound dog that was brought down to 43. I took the forfeit and spotted the weight and bet the forfeit on Mac. Mac outsped and outslicked Leonard for about 25 minutes. As he was a terrific head dog. Leonard turned but went very hard. When Leonard finally got to his money spot, the throat, at about 30 minutes, Mac went downhill immediately. By 37 minutes Mac was dying. And when a handle was made, Mac stood and Leonard made a courtesy. Mac tried to jump the pit when Leonard courtesy scratch into him. Mac was by Patrick's Fearless Jr. out of Vice Grip's Lady Tomahawk. Leonard then faced G&G Combine's Buddy. Again. Buddy was way ahead of the slow and not very athletic Leonard for about 20 minutes. But when Leonard got that bear trap of a mouth on Buddy's throat, it was over by the 32-minute mark. Buddy's blood literally streamed up in the air as Leonard rooted into his spot. Leonard was very deceptive. He didn't look like much athletically. But when he hit that money spot, it was game over. Meanwhile, Poncho won over S&S Combine's Dragoon in a total shutout in 32 minutes at a weight of 49 pounds. S&S traveled over 600 miles to beat Poncho with a leg-amputating destroyer. That came right off of champion Rattler. Poncho totally outclassed. And then downed this one-dimensional destroyer. With a smooth and cool defense with absolute authority that has become the Poncho trademark. The ref even made a comment he fought a perfect fight. After this clinic in canine performance, I agreed to bring Poncho 1-time winner into Leonard 2-time winner to avenge my previous loss, and I agreed to a weight of 45.5 pounds for Poncho and 45 pounds for Leonard, although Poncho was a natural 47.5 to 48 pounds dog. I reasoned Poncho never really was a mouth dog but was just an untouchable tactical dog. I had Poncho at 52 pounds against a 57-pound and 60-pound dogs. And he totally routed them with his untouchable style and tireless stamina. And after anything got hot on Poncho, he would roll them over and finish them. He did the same thing to Dragoon. I figured that, even a little light, that the slow Leonard two-time winner would be a cakewalk for the superb Poncho one-time winner. And I even said, Poncho could have Parvo and still beat Leonard. I was so confident in Poncho. This photo was taken November 17, 95 and the deal took place Saturday, November 25, 95. It's been just over 1 decade ago exactly since the match went down. Poncho was at his agreed-upon weight of 45.5 pounds in this photo. Way underweight. But after 8 more days and a 3-hour drive, Poncho came in at 44 pounds 1 pound less than Leonard but 3.5 to 4 pounds less than his best weight. In my totally green ignorance, I simply did not see how my poor management took every bit of steam out of Poncho. And made him so weak that his legs just started buckling underneath him by the 10-minute mark. Poncho gamely tried to do everything he could to hang onto the head and keep himself out of trouble. But he was just too weak to do so effectively. Leonard started to run hot by the 30-minute mark. And that would normally be the moment Poncho would go for the finish. But all he could do was hang onto the ear. Again. The turn was called on Leonard as he blew hot a bit. But Leonard came across like a freight train and pushed Poncho into the corner. But it was Poncho who got the hold. Even though he was limp on his back. And that was all he could do was just stay in holds. No. He did not look great from a performance standpoint in this deal. But I had seen him be absolutely perfect and untouchable every other time before. When at a healthy weight. This time, while all he could do was weakly hang on. What he did do was stay until the end. When I realized he would be dead soon by the throat-killing bear trap of a mouth Leonard. I asked Big Ernie if he would scratch to win. He agreed. And again now champion Leonard pile-drived Poncho into the corner on his winning scratch. I was asked to scratch Poncho and even though he could hardly stand at this point, he was still struggling and looking around my legs to see Leonard. And when I faced him he went immediately and took hold. And that is it. And that is all there is to say. And anyone who says different from the above is a damn liar. Champion Leonard was a deceptively dangerous dog. And he beat a 4 pounds too light Poncho that day that was a shell of himself. In truth, the dogs should not have faced each other. And champion Leonard would have lost just as surely to a 48 pounds Poncho as a 44 pounds Poncho lost to champion Leonard. All I can say is that I fucked up and lost that day. And that Poncho never would have lost to any dog that breathed at his best weight. When in top condition. And I will never change that opinion in my life. And I so deeply did I believe this. That I based a bloodline on Poncho. And there is not one dogman who has anything bad to say about me or Poncho who has surpassed in the last 20 years what Poncho has produced in the last 15 years. Not a single one. But all of the people who have believed in Poncho. And in his bloodline. Have succeeded. Every one. Figure that. So while I may have fucked up in Poncho's second show, I hit the bullseye in recognizing how good he really was. And what he was continually throwing. Over and over again. And now for generation after generation. He proved that my belief in him was well placed. Thanks to those who have always believed in Poncho. From your friend Jack. Thanks again for listening to the Texas Scratch King channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. Like and share the video. Until the next time my friends, as we always say. Never submit to life and keep scratching every time.